It's not accidental.
Well, his game planning.
There's nothing accidental about it.
Well, you know what the thing is about challenging, right? Dricus Du Plessis, for as good as he had been, and every time I've spoke with this guy, he's so confident. Like, he doesn't believe that he's going to get beat. And honestly, I was one of, if not his biggest detractor. I would say he wasn't that good. I said he couldn't wrestle, and then he kept winning and winning and winning. And I'm like, wow, he's much better than I thought. And I thought he was complete against Izzy. One thing, even when he knocked out Robert Whittaker, I was like, oh, anybody can get caught. Right? Like, it was just every reason to move the finish line on this guy. We took the opportunity.
We can talk about his skill set all day long, but it's the mind of Dricus Du Plessis. This man, for want of a better word, he's a tough guy. He would have been the hardest guy in the neighborhood growing up. He would have been the cock of the school. I'm telling you, he's just that guy. And the skills are catching up to that mentality all the time. Reminds me of some handsome devil from England.
The serial winner, he finds a way. And yes, when you watch his style, you do think, oh, he's not all this, he's not all that. But he wins consistently. Winning is a habit, and this guy is a junkie. He's addicted to winning. And honestly, I think we're yet to see the best of Dricus Du Plessis as well. I think that's the most exciting thing about him.
Dude, he's just always on the gas. Always on the gas. Yeah. And that, in MMA, which is an inherently offense-oriented sport, you're gonna win more often than not with something like that. And the reason why the second fight with Strickland is so important, I think, in my judgment, is, you know, he's kind of always been like, oh, the goofy guy who just keeps getting by.
He reeled it.
But if you can beat Strickland twice, if you can finish Izzy, if you can finish Whittaker, at some point, and I learned my lesson already. Right. But there was a lot of people out there like, wow.
Watching the countdown, watching the embeddeds, he's got like 10 guys switching in on him. 10 elite guys, like 185ers, switching in on him over 25 minutes, trying to fatigue him. They can't use two partners with this guy. They need to use all these partners to give these partners, go in there, go as hard as you can for a minute, hard as you can for 2 minutes, switch them out, get a fresh guy to try to absolutely fatigue this guy. He is a real freak of nature, Dricus Du Plessis, and he gets away with things that you don't think you should get away with, but he does because he's such a good athlete.
And I think DDP just has such an iron mind, is the best way to put it. It is iron. And I'm not hating on Strickland in any sense of the matter, but I don't know if I would say he has an iron mind. I would say that his mind is there and he's strong and he's tough and he's got a championship mindset, but I don't know if it's an iron mind. Like, when you look at DDP, you cannot piss him off. He doesn't give away his power, is the best way I can put it. You can try everything in the book to shake DDP, and he will not afford you the luxury to be shook.
But he got his septum fixed, and that opened up a whole new animal. He did it in perfect time for when he's starting to get ready for these 5-round fights. He's similar to Merab in the middleweight division. He's not very technical when it comes to boxing. He's not super technical when it comes to wrestling or jiu-jitsu. You've seen in the past guys like Darren Till even take him down and stuff. But he has the heart of a lion, and he keeps coming, and he has a lot of confidence. The number one thing in fighting is a lot of confidence, and he has it.
And you nailed it. Like, if you're sparring a guy who's clean and precise, sometimes those guys are the easier guys to spar. But we call guys like that a booger, right? Like, they're just awkward. But what happens is when he's not clean and concise, the punches come from weird angles. The defense comes from weird angles. There's just things for you it takes a hard time to get control over, right? It's just that big step overs and loops and everything else coming from all different positions with his hands down. But goddamn it, he does it well. He's got so much heart and self-belief in what he does, right? And he's truly one of those guys. When you watch him, like, he's really willing to die in there, like the way that he fights.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think no one saw this type of future for him except him and all of his coaches, and he has assuredly leveled up since he has become a top contender since the Robert Whittaker fight in July of 2023. You talk about all the guys that are already on his resume, but he didn't just walk into our first fighter meeting back in the day on Fight Island suggestive of being a UFC champion. He wanted to be an all-time great, and that's what drives this guy. And certainly he has gone to great lengths to accomplish that, leaving no stone unturned as far as the preparation goes.
The want and need and hunger is so much in fighting.
and it's not always about who's the more technical guy. It's such a diverse game of MMA that, you know, sometimes styles match up and people get beat on skill, but then, you know, it's just that hunger in the dying rounds and the toughness can get you so far, and that's what DDP is, man. He was so tough. I'd spar with him and train with him, and he didn't want to quit. You know, technically, I think at the time I was a lot better than him, and it was just, I could beat him in stand up, I could beat him in the wrestling, but he would just never stop. So that's the number one thing in fighting is not stopping until you execute and you finish, and that's what he's been able to do.
Dricus knows how to fight. Like, you'll never, like for as goofy as he looks in fights, like the dude, like if you ask him to sit down and take a test about fighting, he'd blow it away. He knows how to fight. But the issue is he's not fighting out of a textbook. He's just pure 100% instinct. Like whatever feels natural, I feel like he just does. Like whatever like pops into his mind, he fights instinctually. And it's when you're that instinctual, but you have the physical tools to do it at that level, you're like, I thought we stopped doing this years ago. Yeah. So like, you know, like he fights like somebody you run into in your early pro days when like, okay, like, you know, but he's honed it to such a degree to where he brought back the old style. And you're like, I haven't seen this since I was young. I don't have a counter for this.
The mindset, people always go, you have to be able to, you have to be willing to die when you get in there. That's true, you have to. But that's a minimum requirement. The harder part here is, can you kill a man when you have to? Yes, I can. So I'm willing to die, and I'm willing to take blood.
I mean, like,
I know that.
Yeah, you know that.
I know that. When I go in there, if there's no ref, the ref doesn't stop it, I'm not stopping. I can be sitting on me for 10 minutes, bashing your face. You know, if the ref doesn't say stop, I'm not stopping. And that is the question that me as a modern day gladiator has to ask myself. Am I still willing to die? Absolutely, that's easy. It's, are you willing to kill a man in front of his family? Yes, I am. And that's why I'm the world champion. Because I say yes to that answer, that question every single time. That's Dricus Stillness.
Yeah.
Du Plessis.
Just stylistically, I watch him and it's just messy. Like it doesn't seem like, oh, I get it. Like it's just messy. But one thing, and this is an art in itself, is he just knows how to win. Like he just knows how to figure. It's like you said, stubbornness. Blocking this way, he'll figure out that. It just eventually he's tough enough to still be in there and then find a way to win.
This guy is
the good stuff media says, the good stuff everybody says. It's not more important than what your family and your friends think of you. And the bad things they say is definitely not more important than what your family and friends think of you. And once you have that, you'll always be happy and you'll always be in a good space. You know, I can have everything in the world. Without them, without the people that make my life worthwhile, nothing else matters.
A long time ago, I had to start looking at fights differently, or at least looking at how I looked at fights differently, because it just looks so wrong. On paper, it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. His game is it's different. It's different, but it's effective. So is it wrong? I'm having to figure out that it's not. He's super effective at what he does. He's got to be an incredible athlete. The way that people react when he grabs people, he's got to be just goddamn strong as hell. But he's adapted his game and he's figured out what works for him, and it just doesn't look right, you know, to the normal analyst eye. And so I've had to just adjust how I look at fights a little bit. He's actually, I think at times he's made me a better analyst.
Yep. And everyone that has fought him said he's got a different kind of strength. Almost like clubbing forward, you know, with punches, and then just when he grabs you, it's like just that weight you really can't get off of you. It's very unorthodox in how his approach is. He's a bigger, lumbering guy. He seems out of balance all the time, but he's making progress and moving forward. He's always trying to push the fight forward, and he's dangerous.
Yeah.
So, and no matter how tired he looks, he can look freaking exhausted.
Yep.
He keeps pushing.
I keep saying this, but I don't get how Dricus is a champion.